Hey, what's up, ghouls and gals? Today we are wrapping up January Giallo here on this channel. I am very excited to bring to you a review slash like whatever you want to call this of Lizard in a Woman's Skin, which is Lucio Fulci at like his best. So let's talk about it. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, check out all of my links down below if you would like to see any more of me or support the channel any further. Next week I have a really fun video planned and I'm excited, but for now, let's dive into Lizard in a Woman's Skin, which is just a psychosexual nightmare. From 1971, like I mentioned, directed by Lucio Fulci, this comes in at an hour and 45 minutes and was released on February 17th, 1971. We follow Carol Hammond, who is a daughter of a politician who's having vivid nightmares involving sex orgies and LSD. In a dream, she murders a neighbor that she envies and wakes up to a real investigation into her neighbor's murder. Don't go into this thinking it's going to be like Lucio Fulci Zombie or like anything like that. Like, this is very Lucio Fulci in his crime, psychological, horror thriller, but also like very dreamy Lucio Fulci at the same time. And I just really like this entry into his filmography. The film caused major scandal due to a sequence featuring operations on live dogs for the purpose of experimenting or scientific research, better known as vivisection. It appeared in a disturbingly realistic scene. Fulci was taken to court over accusations of animal cruelty, and he narrowly avoided jail time by proving the dogs were highly realistic special effects created by Carlo Rambaldi, who was later known for his work on E.T. And after watching this film, you can tell that these are like fake dogs, but at the time, this probably did cause a big ruckus and rock a lot of people because the dogs do look shockingly real, but for someone who has seen a lot of special effects and work like that, I feel like we could tell right away that those were not real dogs. Shockingly realistic though, so I get it. Upon its release, the film faced heavy censorship in several countries due to its graphic violence, sexual content, and controversial themes, and some edits removed key scenes, affecting the narrative's cohesion, which really sucks. When I feel like even in the copy that we watched, it's still a little bit like narratively not all there, but it's still a great film, and knowing that it was missing things or things were cut from it, I feel like I was anticipating like a lot, like a worse film. But this is a great time for me to pause and let you know that this once again is brought to you by my patrons. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. If you are a patron of mine on the $2 or higher tier, you will be able to watch A Lizard in a Woman's Skin in full for $2. Every month I will be uploading 2 or more movies for you guys to watch, so come join me for a movie night over on Patreon, and thank you to my patrons for supporting and sponsoring this video. This film is considered to be one of Lucio Fulci's most ambitious works, combining the Giallo genre with more of a psychological horror thriller like I mentioned, and it's so fantastic the way that it works with its dreamscapes and just confusing, almost mystery-like narrative, and it's wonderful. This is definitely a significant departure from his earlier films and really does signify his entrance into darker and more, just darker horror films in general, which is what we like. As previously mentioned, the film follows Carol Hammond, who is fabulously played by Florinda Bolkan, the daughter of a respected politician who begins having vivid, erotic, and violent dreams about her neighbor, Julia Durer, a free-spirited and hedonistic woman. In one such dream, Carol stabs Julia to death in a fit of rage. When Julia is murdered in the exact same manner as Carol's dream, Carol becomes the prime suspect. The police investigate, uncovering a web of deceit, drug use, and sexual experimentation in Julia's life. As Carol's psychological state unravels, she begins to question her own sanity and whether she might be actually responsible for the murder. Through twists and turns, it is revealed that there is a conspiracy involving Carol's family and those close to her. The film blends elements of Giallo with psychological horror, like I mentioned, using surreal imagery and dream sequences to blur the line between reality and hallucination. And speaking of dream sequences, this appropriately confused audiences when this was first released because it wasn't a popular trope in films then to have like a crazy dream sequence or to cut away and have things happen in such a manner. I mean, I feel like they were on the cusp of things like that, but I feel like it wasn't just like as common as like we know it to be now, as like, hey, this is a dream sequence. It shot a little differently. But while it was confusing to audiences when it was released, it is very appreciated and renowned now by horror fans. I would even go as far to say as it's praised for its boldness in crafting the scenes that it did, because they are so beautiful. Some of the scenes in this film are just so, like, you just kind of want to pause and soak in the colors and just... You just want to enjoy the film for what it is and not take it too seriously, but then dive in on a second watch perhaps and really think about the themes. Before we end though, I do want to highlight Florinda Bolkan, who truly delivers a standout performance as Carol Hammond. She portrays a woman struggling with guilt, repressed desires, and madness, and carries the movie on her back. And I don't know the actress's name off the top of my head, but the woman who plays Julia was just beautiful and captivating, and I could have watched more of this film. So like I mentioned, this film was brought to you by my patrons, and if you would like to watch this film and others for $2 a month over on Patreon, you can do so. My next video will be our part 10 to horror movies under 80 minutes, and then like I mentioned, I have something fun kind of coming your way. So on that note, I will leave you there. Thank you for hanging out with me for Giallo January kind of week here. Next month we are doing Romantic Horror Week, and I'm very excited to talk about some really good movie picks and break down some movies with you. So I will see you guys in a few days. Sayonara, spooky fam.